1 second here. I doubt I'm going to find anybody that joins right now. But basically, come online here because on Pump Fun, I'm not seeing anybody actually joining the stream. And that means, I guess this is the time of day when Pump Funners aren't really active, I guess, in watching streams or active on their robots. But let me tell you guys this. I grabbed a video of another one of these dumps, and it looks like a high-profile individual. Thing is, they didn't show their face, like most of these Pump Fun developers basically do. All right. At the end of the video, I show the person's X account as well. And you'll see it's oddly familiar to the Pump Fun CEO avatars, their little anonymous avatars. They're complicit. It has to be. Why are they complicit? Why do I think that now? 100%. Because apparently one of the team members of Pump Fun liked the contract address on this dump. Interesting. So basically, I got a 26-minute long video that I'm going to have to edit a lot. I'm going to basically put little reactions of myself in between the video, describing the behaviors on the chart, behaviors of the developer, and just putting all the pieces together. You could say in a way I would be doxing them, but I mean, they doxed themselves, didn't they? They're a public profile. Everybody can see it. So what I have coming for you guys soon is a long form video, fully edited, professionalized, and you get to see how these people dump, and also you get to see how bad the problem is. Don't spam the chat or I will spam you out of the chat. But now check this out. So I was able to see their Twitter account, and I was able to see, of course, their profile on Pump Fun. This person ended up making about $20,000 on just the creator fees. Okay? And this person didn't want to maybe pump the token back up. He said he believed in the token. It was like, oh, this is so, what's the name? What's the word? Jenny. All right. Now, this dude, apparently his P&L, profit and loss, plus $250,000. So what you mean to tell me is that this person has made $250,000 and needed to cash out $5 or $10 of his money that he put into the token, that he said that he supposedly believes in. At the same exact time, a Pump Fun team member goes and likes the tweet. This is a big deal. When I post this video, my life might be in danger. I still have to work on it, edit it, professionalize it. And once you guys see how nasty the problem is out here, you're going to realize we're all cornered. I looked up, I asked Google something blatant. I was like, what is the government doing to stop these rug pulls? And what it said was that the agencies have stopped going after general financial crimes like that. They're going after specific large commodity type financial assets, basically. They're looking at bigger things. What they don't understand, well, actually, they probably do understand. What they don't understand is they're manipulating it from the ground up and from the top down. So you got Pump Fund executives or Pump Fund team members, or liking a tweet on a token that ends up getting pulled, like dumped. Wait a second here. The dude has $250,000 in profits, but he had a token actually fail to 2.5 thousand market cap, and he just let it fall. There's no way. Somebody was in the chat saying, hey, we're not stupid. We know that you're holding 20% of the supply, and what they're implying is that it was across multiple accounts. When you see this video, you're going to say to yourselves, are you kidding me? You know, like, it's going to blow your mind. If you haven't been on Pump Fund, if you haven't been out in this space long enough, you might not be seeing these big developers basically like secret launching. You got 20 people, 30 people watching a token. The chances of that going like viral in some way on that site is very low. You need 100 people watching, okay? So these developers literally have it in their account that it's a full-time job to go and develop tokens, to create tokens and push them out. And you can see in this video, 1,000, 1,000, 500, 500. You see all the way down the list, profits from these pump and dumps. On the developer account that made $250,000. And he couldn't even leave 50 bucks in a token. Wait, no, not even 50 bucks, $5 in a token? Dude, this is an entirely corrupt environment, and I'm just going to continue exposing it. And they can threaten me all they want. They can track my wallet all they want. I know that they're tracking my wallet. It has to be that way. 100%. They're using screeners to track down my wallet, and they have it automated into their bundlers. So they're able to tell whose wallet is in there once they've grabbed that target. I'll give you an example. There was a person, something Dr. Shreem or something. He's got a picture of Trump with like a mafia hat on, right? Top hat. It's kind of cool. But you could see his profit and loss, and he's lost like $3,000. He's lost a lot of money on Pump Fund. And it was like his account stood out from the rest. I don't know why this is heating up so bad, dude. His account was like just totally decimated. And it made no sense because I was looking at the tokens that he got into. He would call a token out and it would dump. It was like he was targeted. So if you like Trump, you get targeted. By who? Criminals. That's strange. I thought everybody was calling Trump a criminal. If Trump's the criminal, why are criminals attacking people who support Trump? That's strange. And they're idiots because they keep doing their crimes blatantly out in the open. So I have a long form video for you guys, and currently it's a 26-minute long video of just edited portions of this pump and dump and information about the accounts that were involved. 2 accounts that stood out the most, and I'll go over it in that video. I'll describe, I'll react, I'll explain the behaviors of these developers and how they trick their audience to going all in, saying, hold guys, hold, oh, we're gonna pump it, and then, you know, hear a few clicks. things stop for a minute, and then you see some weird trade activity, and you know it's them. They go pump, pump, pump. And then, you know, you can hear it in the dude's voice. When the token falls, he's like, ah, what the hell? As if he just lost his whole bag. But wait, wasn't the guy up $250,000? You're up $250,000, and you mean to tell me you don't have enough money to throw $1,000 at the token and pump it right up to bond? No, dude. Then you look at the list at the same exact time, and you see token after token that this dude launched. Profit and loss, he's making $1,000 per token in minutes. So I'm going to expose it. I'll post the video, make sure I don't get copyright. I got to do some editing. So it might be in a couple of days, but you guys will be able to see in real time. Like, not real time because it's, you know, but you know what I'm saying. You're going to be able to see how these people operate, what the actual stats look like across the board, and to understand what the chart's actually doing. In this case, there wasn't enough activity for me to really go into depth about it. It's going to be pretty blatant. These people pumped, these people dumped. What these guys do, I'm going to tell you this. What these guys do is they use their main pump fund account as the face. And their main pump fund account is supposed to look good. So a lot of these guys actually hold for no reason. They're just holding because they want to have that on their stats. I'm a holder. I hold until the end, while they're on a different account doing exactly what you think that they're doing. They're pulling out. So they're on different wallets pulling out while they're on their main wallet sitting there with like $5, saying, yeah, I'm a strong holder. I'll hold forever. We're going to 1 million. Literally, the dude said we're going to 1 million. If you say that we're going to $1 million market cap, you do not sell even when it hits the ground. Otherwise, you have just scammed your audience. You have just scammed the people that got into that token. And the fact that the dude was up at one point $250,000 and he can't even leave behind $5 shows that these people are not responsible with their money, even when they do rob it. They just want more and more and more and more. The entire space is full of criminals, and we got more content because of it. They think they're screwing people over. They're screwing themselves at the end of the day. And I get to have a little bit of content for my channel. Maybe I'll get some extra views on it. I'm a broke person. I got a broken back. I'm still walking, still go, still move. And I'm seeing this happen, and I'm like, man, if I had $1,000, you know what I'd do with it? I'd start a business. I'd get my bikes running. I'd do everything that it took to get on the top of everything. I suck at saving little bits at a time, but I mean, making 15 to 20 bucks a day, you can't really save very much on that. So I'm kind of stuck. If I had $1,000 plopped into my lap, hey, do what you need to do with it. Bro, you have no idea what I could get done with that. But I have officially committed to any online money that I have, it's going to be played around with. And basically at the end of my reign with this, losing my money to these dumps, I'm leaving the space like that. If I come back to the space, it's going to be to grab content and to explain what's really going on there. I haven't had an opportunity like this where I can just look from the outside in and make content on something like that, and for it to be justified. The other types of research that I've done haven't really dug into like this kind of this big criminal behavior that I'm noticing. Or at least, I wasn't able to post the stuff that I had done reports on I had to kind of keep quiet about that and just piece to get things together and give you guys hints on what's really going on and post the I told you so's basically. So welcome to the channel, guys. I see some comments, but I don't know what it says. Sup, mommy? Okay. But it was insane to see somebody that has $250,000 in their past. I don't know when they made that, but they had $250,000. They couldn't leave behind $5. The shame. No, they don't have any shame. That's insane. And the fact that his tweet got liked, it got attention from a Pump Fund team member, allegedly. I didn't do the actual research. I didn't see if it was actually the account. But imagine if this person is actually part of that team. I think I'm onto something here. So I might go and expose a Pump Fund team member for doing a pump and dump. And he used his status as a Pump Fund associate, considering that, you know, there was somebody from the Pump Fund team allegedly that went and liked his contract address. I witnessed quite a few rug pulls in the last day. Out of 51 tokens, 48 of them rugged. 48 of them ended up with basically no liquidity left. And when these happen, it's happening within 20 minutes. Some of them happen within 3 seconds. It's like, done. Not even 3 seconds. Like, it's probably like more like maybe a minute, minute and a half, 3 minutes. Like, if you were, like, there's tokens all the time going 3 seconds, up, down, you know, another token, up, down, another token, up, down. Literally every second there's a token doing that. Why? How is that happening? They have computers, certain programs that can detect the token as soon as it's launched, and they just throw a bit of money at it immediately. That's why you see these tokens where they have, like, you know, there's 3 buyers in it, and they're just sitting on it. And it's like, wait, but the token just launched 1 second ago. How did that happen? It's because they have computers that are searching for these tokens, and they execute a command, buy, immediately. They don't even have to tap buttons at that point. They just have a computer that's automating it, that whole process of getting in first. That's how they're making their money. Now, they're going to lose at the end anyways, because that's bad for business. I've explained it to them, and they don't understand it. If you keep scaring your investors away, you know, if you keep banking on the fact that they're dumb, the smart money is going to walk away. And there's not going to be any health left in the system for them to keep pulling on. There's not going to be liquidity being put into the system anymore. And I'm going to make sure of that, because I'm going to expose this crap. You're going to see how blatant these people are, but there is no government consequence for these people. You're not going to see some kind of government stepping in. You're going to see Pump Fund step in. So the thing that's going to happen is Pump Fund, if they lose the lawsuit that's against them, they will end up taking down, like a rat, everybody that committed these behaviors. Okay? So if you are a rug puller, your enemy is going to not be the government, it's going to be Pump Fund. Just saying. That's just the way it's going to be. So what we're doing here is we're just exposing all the bullshit, but it's really the fact that they're stealing from poor people that I have a problem with. They're stealing from people that they don't care who they are. They can be disabled people, poor people, new people, just, you know, young kids that got, you know, hold of their parents' credit card. There's tons of things that they're doing that is just terrible. And it's against every one of you. Because look at what they're doing. They're robbing the next generation. And then Basically, there's like a king-making process. We have Ansem, the most well-known token out there. I see him make a tweet saying, Solana's going to 300 by 2027. Yeah, making a prediction. He was looking for a pump. Dude, you're not going to get a pump like that. There's not $100 billion to go and throw into pump fund. Sorry, that money's gone. You screwed yourselves. You totally screwed yourselves. You could have had $100 billion jump into the space. But no, that's not going to happen. And why? Because you guys went and you rug pulled everyone. Now nobody wants anything to do with the platform. There's no new money coming in. You see the Solana price dipping once again. It's at its end. If you're in Solana, get the hell out of it. Don't invest your money on pump fund. And also, I'm coming after Coinbase. Don't spend your money on Coinbase either, or Base Network. All of these places are complicit. See, Base Network, it's a great protocol. It's beautiful. It's run perfectly. The problem, you still have these little goblins gobbling up what's left out of people's bank accounts. You know, I saw this one dude. He was holding on to like $50,000 in a token for months and months and months and months. Why? Because he wanted to launch a project that allows everyone to join the space if they're into gaming, to turn anything into an NFT, to apply his token to any project that might get launched. And the project is called Launch. It's like launch.io or something. And it's a beautiful idea, beautiful concept. I threw in on it and I lost $100 freaking dollars. That was like a couple years ago. That hurt me. I was like, really, guys? That's insane. This project's perfect. But no, everybody wants to pump and dump, and they don't understand that the dump, like, you're not supposed to dump it. If you exit, you have just fucked everyone over. If you leave $10 in there after you make 10 grand, they might have some chance to actually succeed, but it's like everybody just wants to rip it away. They're like, nope, I'm not in charge of that, so I'm not going to let that succeed. If that's how you want to treat the space itself isn't going to grow, and you're not going to make any more money. All the money that's been in the space is old money, and now you're recycling that money. And it's going to have like a bad consequence in the future where you want new people to come in, but they know better now. And it's because you treated them like trash. You know, if that was your goal to just be the best, well, you're not going to be the best because there's nothing left to be had. You're not going to be able to get anything else out of these people. You've lost the game. Oh, I've lost the game. No, I haven't lost the game. I don't rely on typing on a computer to make my money. I actually make things. I actually, write code out myself and create a beautiful video game. I can do things. Well, that just sounded. Anyway, so the fact of the matter is, I'm more capable than they are. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And if you guys saw the live stream this morning, I have a plan to protect myself from the apocalypse, basically. Now, this person is laughing at me saying, oh, you're so obsessed with rug pull things. What, do you want me to just not pay attention to this problem and just continue on? There's millions of people that have been rugged. Millions of people who lost their money. And they have a right to know that they didn't make a bad decision. When you're a gambler and you're a degenerate gambler, you end up dealing with like a mental disorder after the fact, because you feel like you did everything wrong. You're like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? I'm a logical person. I'm like, I know what I did wrong, and I know what I didn't do wrong. So I'm able to kind of separate right from wrong. A lot of other people can't do that because they've been led down that path. They're just like, they've been possessed, basically. All right. But no, this isn't an obsession with a topic. This is like, if everybody just stays quiet and doesn't speak out about this issue, nothing's ever going to get done, and people are going to keep getting thrown off the cliff. I'm not going to let that happen. 1 second, I gotta make sure where am I going? I'm just walking around and talking. Give me 1 second here. Okay. So, I saw somebody basically completely get rugged, and he might have even got hacked. Like, he hand drew a game. Like, he was trying to do everything right. He did everything right. And they rugged him. And he wasn't new to the space, but he was new to completing a project and launching it. And that's how they treated him. They pumped it, dumped it, and then left him. Many people continued to hold. Same thing happened with this last situation. Many people continued to hold, and everybody just continued to sell out. And I got that on camera, so basically now I can go and I can edit it, make a reaction to everything, explain to you guys how bad of a problem this really is. You have to understand, there's 18-year-olds going into the space and they're deciding, bro, I'm not going to college. That's what they do. So there's probably family members that you would like to see, if you're an older person, somebody that's younger, you would like to see them go to college and get an education, get a degree, because you gave them money to go and do that. And no, they're gonna go get rug pulled on, rug.dump. Okay? That fucking place has ruined many people's lives, and it's actually ruining the lives into the future as well. We need to be talking about this. And I'm gonna talk about it if you guys won't. If everybody's gonna be a fucking lazy, do nothing, I'm gonna end up doing it. I feel like I'm the only person actually talking about this stuff from an original perspective. And that goes for anything that I expose or talk about on my channel. Most of the things that I'm talking about, it's like everybody is the first time that they've ever talked about it before. And I'm just like, wow, so I am the only person actually out here talking about this stuff and trying to make a difference. There's other people that grift on it. They're like, oh yeah, I want to make a difference. No, you don't. You just want free shit. I'm trying to get a message across, guys. I'm not trying to get famous, but it needs to happen. I need to get noticed so that I can get this information out to people. You got young kids. Some of these people are like, they're like, I'm 16 and I'm trading. I'm like, okay. And they're like, oh yeah, I use software. What do you recommend for a trading strategy? And I'm like, if I were to do a trading strategy, I would put in on a launch, wait for one buy, detect one buy on that token, and then go in. Maybe with $5. And then if the person sells, you lost maybe $1. Okay? But if another person jumps in, then as soon as it hits a 5x, you pull out 80%. I had a whole system. I was like, yo, this is how I would do it. And he's like, oh, I'm going to try that. And I was like, but this is not financial advice. I'm just telling you that's what I would do if I had the money, if I had the software. So this person says later on that he makes 6 figures. I told him that I'm broke. $5,000 would put me to, bring me to the moon. It would get everything fixed for me. Be able to get a car, be able to get out of the house. I'd be able to go make $4,000 in a month. This person would rather throw it at rug pulls and get lucky and basically give me the middle finger. He wouldn't even throw $1 at my project. A person who makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a year couldn't throw $1 into what I'm building. $1. Insane. That's what you have out in that space, and that's what I'm going to expose. These people can't even leave $5 in a token. You really have to pull out. Like, insanity. I saw a person with 20,000 followers on his Twitter as well, and he ended up rugging. You could see the sales. He made a ton of money on these sales, and then dumps, and then leaves it behind. I'm watching these call outs, and I'm trying to catch up with the call out. I'm on a second device too when I'm doing it, and I'm trying to really study this stuff. And I see on every single call out, it's after they've already pumped it and it's on its way down. I can see the timestamp, and I can see the trade activity, and I can see when the trades happened, when the pump happens. They go and they do the call out after it's already pumped. Welcome back, John. So I got a long form video coming up on a rug pull from somebody that may be affiliated with the Pump Fund team. He's got the same avatar, claimed that a Pump Fund team member went and liked his post, probably him liking his own post from a team member's account. The place is full of criminals, and I'm going to go ahead and expose it. And I'm definitely going to be at risk, but I don't care. I'd rather live for truth than to have done nothing. Like I said, you got 18-year-olds that are like, why go to college? I can just go pump around on Pump Fund. That's what they're doing. You got degenerate gamblers starting right at 18, and they're doing it right on Pump Fund. And it's got to stop. That's what we have in the future. They're not just unemployable, but now they're just degen casino players. And they don't even make any real money. These Jito bundlers, they're ripping the money right out of people's hands so easy. Wait, I think you're burying a body. What? Oh. No, I was going for a little walk because I wanted to get some fresh air. Damn, dude, it's like 50 degrees. That's good. But yeah, if you're a rug puller, if you're a pump funner, you had a chance to make it right. I continued to pump your stuff, support your stuff. I go live for tens of hours on a token. No attention whatsoever. It's kind of obvious that the whole space is fully rigged, and anybody that enters it, it's basically like entering an arena, and they're not even armed. You're taking the money from innocent people, from basically children, childlike mentalities. They don't even know what the hell's going on yet. You don't know how many people I talk to in the phantom chats, and they're like, I'm new to the space. What should I buy this? I'm like, careful. Yeah, I'm at my house now. I'm like, hey, careful. This is going to be a rug. I've called out so many rugs. And I called it, and I told this one dude I told earlier today, I told him to sell. I was like, look, sell as soon as you can break even. As soon as you can get back what you put in, get out of this token before it rugs. And it ended up rugging. It's down at like 15,000. It was up at like 50,000 when he bought in, probably at like 30,000. Sold at like 35 or 40,000. So the guy actually ended up getting his money back. But I've seen a dude lose $5,000. $5,000 on one trade. Insanity. You think it's bad. I lost $50 on 2 trades from rug pulls. Well, that's not as bad as what a lot of other people are dealing with. You got people that throw 10 grand into it, and they're just like, yes, this is the most popular token. I see somebody that put in 100 million into Ansem. There's somebody that literally has $100 million in the Ansem token. You want to talk about a rug pull from hell? That dude's planning on it. He's planning on pulling out. Not financial advice, but he's definitely planning on pulling out. You don't see Ansem in the prediction markets like Cashcat is. You know what I mean? Like they claimed Ansem pay. I doubt it. What they're trying to do is they're trying to exit on a pumped Solana token. So Ansem puts out a tweet stating that Solana will be at 300 in a couple of years or next year. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you ever consider that a token can boost $100 billion in like months from now, like half a year? There's no way. What they're trying to do is they're trying to exit, and they're trying to get stupid people. They're just relying on people's stupidity. Okay? That's what's going on. They're relying on people's dumbness, and that screwed themselves over. Because at the end of the day, they don't have any new money coming in, and it's futile. And I'll show you how bad the situation is when I post this video. Right now it's at 26 minutes long. I think it'll be probably around the same, maybe 30 to 40 minutes long once I'm done with it. But I got to do reactions. I got to split the video up a lot, and do little cuts everywhere just so I don't get a copyright. Crypto is is for stupid people. No. Crypto is for criminals. You got that wrong. You got nerds that are stealing stupid people's money. Crypto isn't for stupid people. Crypto is for smart nerds that want to do crime to steal the money from the stupid people. That's what that is. So I'll show you guys how bad the situation is. Like literally, we might have a Pump Fund team member liking the contract token that they had just launched and they're live promoting just to give himself what, $100, $50 when he supposedly is up $250,000. That's what he boasts on his Twitter. I'll show you guys. They were too low IQ to make money legally. No. They're getting tricked into the space to do crime, and then they're like, oh, this is easy. So they go ahead and continue. Oh, 1 second. I'll fix that. 1 second here. Is it working now? Are we good? Let me know. Let me know if it's still cutting out, because I'll go reset my settings and stuff. I can fix it. I know what's wrong with it. I have to reset my settings. So just let me know if it's still bad. If it's good, let me know too. Anyways, I have a video for you guys that's going to blow your freaking mind. This person might have done a self-report, basically. Smart people do not concern themselves with what is easy. We seek challenge, not quite. That's an alpha. That's an alpha. Seeks challenge. And many people that claim that they're alpha today, they're not really doing challenges. They're not really taking a challenge in their life and actually rising above a mountain. They're not doing any of that. You know, a lot of these alphas ended up getting lucky. That's why they look like an alpha. You know, they got everything because, you know, just handed it to them. Easy jobs, you know, hey, you're in charge because, hey, you know, my uncle or my sister or a cousin, you know, like that's the kind of stuff that's going on in the world. That's why the world is messed up right now. You got a lot of stupid people in charge, and then you got a lot of smart people being criminals. They're smart. They know how to run the market. They do a call out, and they'll do a call out on a 2-year-old token. They've already bought it on an account that it's not even linked to them. You don't know that it's them holding onto it. And then they rug you. They pull that liquidity that you just put in out. That's why when I go in, I'm doing a quick trade. In and out. But when I was given this one a real shot, this last one, I was giving it a real shot. And I was
up, triple. I was up 3x in profit, and I didn't pull out. Why? I can make money if I trade aggressively, right? So I'm able to make good money aggressively. I made on $10, $25. I go 3x on finger trades. You know what fucked me were rug pulls. Like, not rug pulls, liquidity pulls. So what they ended up doing, these two trades, as soon as I jump in, next trade is down into the ground, lost it all. It was like hitting the roulette wheel, and it wasn't gonna happen to begin with, type of thing. That was on one of them. The other one, like, that was on a $15,000 market cap. I should have known better. The other one was $80,000 market cap. There was no reason to rug pull. I threw $20 at it. So people pulled out tens of thousands of dollars all at once to rip $20 out of someone else's hands. Insane. That's what's really going on. Say crypto is for dumb people. Go learn crypto. Go make a profit on crypto, and then tell me that crypto is dumb for dumb people. Tell me that you're smarter than the people that are working in the crypto space. You're not. What they're doing is elaborate scams. They're doing an entire project, an entire video game, an entire website. They're going live. Some of them are showing their face. They're brazen about it. And why? Because they know that the government's not going after them. They'll go after them in a civil suit, but they're not going to go after them like on a mass scale. So if you can prove that somebody physically, like personally, and you got to have their identity too, if they personally rugged you, if they personally pulled the liquidity out on you, and they didn't give you any notice, there's no evidence of, hey, I'm going to pull out, none of that, then you can go after them. So the only people that you can actually go after when it comes to the crypto space in criminals is those people who expose themselves. But I might have just found a Pump Fund team member that aided himself on the dumping of a token that he was live streaming just to make $50, just to make maybe $100. They're not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. A lot of this space is fake money. It's fake volume. So there's a lot of wallets that never actually get cashed out. What they'll do is they'll just have pump money. So they'll have the money that's pumped, but they never cash it out. And you don't know who that belongs to. No KYC attached. Pump Fund allows you to have multiple main accounts without being verified. If you send it from a certain wallet, well, you can actually obfuscate that. But when it comes to dark money, they don't ever pull it out. So they just go ham. They go ham. They throw it at anything and they lose it. Doesn't matter because they're part of a group. What they're also doing is they have a whole group together. And when one person sells, oh crap, my buddy over here in the group, he lost, $5,000. But I made 50. So here's $5,000, buddy. That's what they do. They're smart. And they're all part of groups. They're a cabal. They're a cult. You can earn money. You can earn $5 a day by using a computer, Jito bundling, on a dead chart. You can rip liquidity out of a token that has $10 in it. And you can make $5 in a day on that $10. Okay. Watch what I do. Remove. Why did I remove those comments? Because they're completely irrelevant. What are you talking about? The comments that you just made, you just acted like I'm pushing crypto. If you've been paying attention to the video at all, I'm saying stay away from crypto. Stay away from Pump Fund. You don't know me. You don't know my channel. You haven't been here long enough to know my actual prospects. I believe in this. Precious metals. This is worth way more than anything online and way more than the paper money that everybody's reliant on. Try again. Throw another comment. I only removed the comments. I allowed you to still speak. Give me another comment, but make it like actually relevant to the video. Like it, don't just make assumptions. I'm sitting here pushing crypto or something. Like I've told my audience 1 billion times over the last, month straight, stay away from crypto. And if you do get into crypto, throw $1 at something. Don't go any more than that. I am not an advocate for crypto. What I am an advocate for is education, to be educated about it. You need to know that this stuff's going on. If you don't know how crypto works, then you don't understand how markets work. You don't understand the big picture, what's going on. You don't see how people that are younger, 18 years old, are getting robbed daily and then getting pulled into a cult. You don't know about this stuff if you don't understand, crypto, markets, this, that, the other. I talk about these things. Not everyone knows crypto is a scam. Everybody who's new to the space doesn't know that. You're not reaching everyone. This person is saying everybody knows that crypto is a scam. That's what he just said. Not everybody knows that. Especially the people that I'm finding in those spaces that say that they're new. What do I do? Yeah, many people have learned their lesson on crypto, and maybe they learned it on $1. That's why I tell people, if you're going to get into it, grab $10 in it, throw $1 at a few tokens, watch those tokens, and likely they're going to move right out of the space. But you want them to learn from experience and to not lose their bag, not lose their inheritance. That goes with everything. You want somebody to learn how to swim. It's not a requirement to swim. It's kind of stupid to swim in the ocean and get pulled in by the riptides, but you definitely want people to know how to swim. So that's why when we're young, we'll have swimming lessons. Maybe we get taught by our parents or our family, but we still learn how to swim when we're young. We still learn how to ride a bike. We don't all have to ride a bike. Technically, you don't even have to really walk. You can survive without walking. Many people do. But we still learn how to walk. Okay? Winners win. If you need to be told, you'll never know. This guy is completely out of touch with reality. You are stuck in a cave and you need to try to understand that there is an entire world out there where you're not reaching. Your awareness level is, okay, you're aware, but you're not even aware that there's other people who don't know what you supposedly know. Those people are in danger and they need to hear this. So stop getting in the way. Stop trying to, waste my time. But I will waste my time to explain to you that you're being ignorant, no offense, and there's other people that need to hear this. If you don't want to hear this, well, give me a comment that brings us to a different discussion. If you're just going to refute what I'm saying the whole time, that is not bringing us to a real discussion. I got to go. Check back in a little bit. Just arrived. Hell yeah. Later, dude. So, anyways, I got some long form content on a crypto rug, and I'm probably going to have, probably have a helicopter with fucking guns pointed at me and shit. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I might piss off Pump Fund executives, people with millions of dollars, but I don't care because people need to know about this stuff and the word needs to be spread. I believe the only solution to all of this is to be aware of the actual problems. You can't just say, that person's stupid. Let them die because, survival of the fittest. That's a stupid way to run a civilization. Education is there to be educated, not to be ignorant of what that education entails. So please put a comment into the chat that actually is relevant to a productive conversation. Is there something that you're into for hobbies? Is there something that you do that you'd like to see on the channel, or a topic that you would like to hear about on the channel for me to do some extra research and maybe get the message out? Because that's the kind of channel this is. If you're not here for education, or you're not here for just interacting with culture in general and not being stuck in a cave, then you're on the wrong channel. No offense. But if you're going to try to be offensive to me, and all you're going to do is refute everything that I'm saying, then that's just, it's just troll behavior. And it's ignorant. And that's one of the problems that we have in today's society, is that the older generation doesn't want to teach the younger generation, but the younger generation is being a bunch of assholes. And so that's why the older generation doesn't want to teach the younger generation. Duh. But I'm not going to let that hold me back. I'm not going to let my ego hold me back. Like maybe you do. Because that's what's holding you back from wanting to teach the next generation. You're like, oh, that person has low IQ. You still have to learn things. If you weren't taught the ABCs, you're not going to learn them. If you're not taught mathematics, 1 through 10, times tables, if you're not taught that, then you're never going to learn. That's how we got to where we're at in society. And that's how we built advanced civilizations as we have. Every time you see me, I have 3 viewers, and you're talking about crypto. You change the topic at your life. Dude, you have only been on when I'm talking about crypto. You have not been watching my channel regularly then. You've popped on for specific videos and only saw crypto. I've made maybe 10 videos about crypto in the last month, maybe up to 12 or 13. Do you know how many live streams I've done in the last month? Probably about, I'd say about 50 to 70 live streams. I've done a ton of live streams in the last month. You've only seen about 15% of my content in the last month. You see my short videos, me reacting to the earthquakes. I've talked about the earthquakes, talked about culture. I've talked about many different things. In fact, usually when I'm talking about crypto, I'm talking about this stuff too. I'm saying, guys, stock up on these. These are minted coins. Hey, stock up on this. This is cheap. Scrap leather. Stock up on string. In a survival situation, you don't want to have to waste your time making string. There's all kinds of things that you guys need to prepare for and apply it to your knowledge, your education. This video just so happens to be about just simply making new content. And it can be about other things. So that's why I brought up these other things. I'm basically concluding a saga in my life where I had played with crypto, understood what it was, and I'm basically just closing the curtains on it. But there's going to be a conclusion, and that conclusion is, this is my experience with crypto, and this is why not to enter it. If it was a great space to be in, I would be pushing it. I would be saying, go join me in these places. I have it in my description. You can go join me in these places in crypto, but if you're going to do it, trade responsibly. And I don't even suggest you do it. It's like a drug. You don't need to do it. You should probably just make a real life business. If you're going to do anything online and try to earn online, get Atlas Earth. All you have to do is spend maybe 5 or 10 minutes a day, just to earn a little bit. Right now I'm actually earning. It's like 25 cents an hour. I've already tapped the buttons, watched the ads, and it's automatic. So I'm earning money right now just sitting here. There's other investments that you can get involved with, but you got to understand where the money's also going. It's getting drained into crypto as well. So crypto is quite relevant to the markets. Yeah, you got Robinhood, a trading app for stocks. Stocks are never going to go away. Crypto might. But Robinhood is launching meme coins. It's relevant. The money from the stock market is getting drained into meme coins. Why do you think SpaceX is having a difficult time? Because there's a lot of people in that space. They're like, Elon, Dogecoin, crypto, and they try crypto. And then they pull out of their stocks. They're like, oh, crap. I need to pull out my stock so I can go and gamble more. That's what they do. That's why SpaceX is having a hard time. Guarantee it. And it's all getting took by rug pullers and pump and dumps. But, yeah. I'm not going to say what this person commented is specifically, but yes, of course. And I did something else that was way healthier than that. That kind of reversed all the damage. Welcome. Welcome, Tosin. So basically, I have a long form video of another rug, maybe a rug, maybe just a pump and dump. And I might have caught one of the Pump Fund team members. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it up like I already have. Like the video was like 30 or 40 minutes long. I've already cut like, 10, 15 minutes out of it. It's down to 26 minutes now. I'm going to have to speed it up a little bit so I can avoid a copyright, but I'm also going to put reactions in between so that I can explain what happens as it goes. Because there was like a whole set of things that occurred that need to be addressed. People have to understand and see the threat as it is. It looked beautiful. It looked perfect. The guy was like, man, I'm a developer, man. I got a Twitter account. I got my X account. And oh my God, my contract address got liked by a Pump Fund team member. That's strange. Because if it was a Pump Fund team member, they got plenty of money, man. Right? So the token wouldn't fall, drop, and die, right? Because you would have so much support from the team. But I caught that all on video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a long form video of this. The guy didn't show his face, as usual. And he showed his Twitter account. He also had his socials up there. Supposedly this person's up $250,000. But he couldn't let go of $5. That's strange. And I can put the pieces together. I know why he didn't do that. So I'm going to end up exposing the hell out of the situation. Full reaction. Like, think of that. Just imagine it. Dude's got $250,000 and the token rugs to nothing. Yeah, right. It's too strange to be not a coincidence. Not there's something weird going on with that. And I'm going to explain what the weird thing was that I think is. But this is a person robbing poor people. That's what I have a problem with. I understand people are pumping around, gambling, and you got 10 grand. Somebody knows how to pump, and they've got plenty of money. Millionaires are throwing in on the stock market all the time. They're losing money. It makes sense. I'm not dissing on the crypto space in that sense. What I'm dissing on is that people are now so desperate because they've ruined the space so badly, and they didn't provide any sort of education to back up newcomers into the space, that no newcomers want to come in. We got sentiment like that. Hey, I've already learned my lesson in the crypto space. You won't go back into it, and for a good reason. There's a lot of other people that have jumped into the space, and they felt the same exact way. So there's no new money going in. Any new money that's going in is getting ripped out of people's hands. But it's even worse than that. They're using Jito bundlers. Jito bundlers, basically just imagine this. Like if you don't know code and you don't know Jito bundlers, if you don't know the Jeet term, Jeets, then you don't know what this is. It's a program that you write and you choose conditions. So if the price goes down at this level, you start off with that level. The price goes down to this level, then you buy. If it goes up, then you sell. You have that. You can do that on a bot. But on a Jito bundler, you don't have to tap any buttons to make that order. Instead, you've already written all the code out, and then it does it automatically. So it'll make 100 different trades. It'll send to 500 different wallets all these tokens. All, you know, they have multiple wallets ready to go and do a transaction. And they go and execute it. And then somebody who's using their finger to trade, they're like, oh, that's such a cool token. And, you know, this dude's got $50 for the week extra to spend. He's going and working hard at his Walmart job. You know, he's going to 7-Eleven working every day, and he throws his $50 that he saved up. He spent 2 weeks saving, and he's like, man, I hear all this stuff about pump fund. People ain't even going to college, and they're just, you know, making all this money, and then they go waste their $50. But let's talk about college for a second. Dude's saying, I ain't going to college. I'm going to go pump on pump fund. That's what they're saying. And so now you got 18-year-olds that are deciding, instead of actually getting an education, they don't have to go to college. College is probably, you know, just as much of a scam, but at least they'd be educated to a certain degree. Instead of doing that, they're going to go walk into the casino. And if they lose, then they lose everything. And then they lose their soul. Their soul gets ripped out of them. That's a huge problem. You got, like, that's my big main concern, is that the next generation is getting ripped into the space. And if you're in a gang, like, that's in that space, and you get pulled into a back alley and beaten. That's what happens. So the poor takes a chance trying to get a dollar, and someone pulls the rug and takes it. That's never cool. I haven't lost a lot with Bitcoin, but the $40 I lost was enough. Lost quite a bit more than that. I can't tell you specifically how much I've lost, but it was over years. They can barely read and write with a high school diploma. The future is not looking bright. And now here's the thing, is that on top of that, now they're being pushed into the degenerate gambling space, and now they're going to lose everything else that they have. So once they've lost it, well, hey, bro, you can go sell crack. That's what they're doing. That's what they do instead. So they end up getting pulled into a bad situation when they enter that space. So, not to mention how they treat others afterwards because they're sour for it. And now, you know, it would be one thing if they dumped it and then left behind $10. But why are they trying to preserve $10 if they're so rich and so successful? You know what I mean? They're all like bragging, like, man, I make so much money in the crypto space. Guys, just pump it, pump it, pump it, pump it. Well, why are they doing that? And why did they pull out $5 if they got so much money? You know what I mean? You just follow the rabbit hole. You don't even have to follow a rabbit hole. You just look at it from a base perspective, and you're just like, oh, they're not rich. They're all fake. They're just robbing people. So crypto isn't full of, you know, people that are actually smart. Like what the guy up there, you know, earlier in the comments said, he's 75% of the way right. That many of them are not as smart as they could be if they really wanted to make and continue having a place where they can take money from. Because what they're doing is they're scaring everybody out of the space, and nobody wants to come in now. You know, look at me. I'm talking to an entire audience, and I'm still broke, but I've talked about crypto. Put the two and two together. Oh, wait, crypto doesn't equal prosperity. It equals somebody lost their bag. So it looks bad. You know, nobody that's watching my channel wants to enter the crypto space. I've explained it to them directly, and they don't even care. I'm like, guys, screwing me over? That's the last thing you want to do, because now look, I'm still broke and nobody that I talk to wants to enter the space. I could get a bunch of new people into the space if I was rich on it. You know, I got over what 1,300 subs. I'm pretty sure that I could get plenty of people into the crypto space if I was successful in the crypto space. I haven't been. I haven't had any receipts to show you guys. So there's no new people coming into the space, and they basically shot themselves in the foot. It's too bad, because they could have coexisted. You know, I appreciate that. I'm a good person to a certain degree. I'm not perfect. You know, there's nobody's perfect, but I'm gonna do my best to, you know, help people not make the same mistakes that I've made and make the same mistakes that other people are making. You know, I don't want to see somebody get an inheritance of $10,000 and then go throw it into Ansem, and then on the great exit, they're just like, oh, you know, that could have gone to college or something. You know, the reason why college is bad is because you have to pay for the damn shit. You know, it's like, on top of the fact that, you know, you're getting a little bit indoctrinated, well, that's because you become dependent on the system. You forget that you're there to learn and you're there for the culture instead. So you become like a gang member, like a cult member when it comes to college. You have to agree with what everybody else is agreeing with, and it's just high school all over again, except, you know, you're allowed to leave, but if you leave, you're still paying your tuition fees. I appreciate that. Hi, Queen. Wait, I gotta look at I have top chats on, so I don't know if there's like other messages that are coming in that I didn't see. And I'm gonna put it on subscribers only mode. So if you're not subscribed, I would subscribe right now, because I'm gonna put it on subscribers only mode for 1 minute. So you're gonna be subscribed for a minute in order to chat. So let me scroll back up. I enjoy listening to you. I don't mind listening to honesty. You know, that's what it comes down to. I like to watch these informative channels. You know, that's why I like people like Tim Pool. You know, I like Jordan Peterson. I like Steven Crowder. I like all these conservative guys, because what they're doing is they're speaking the truth. I don't have to agree with everything that they say. In fact, I feel like there's probably 30% of what they say that I don't agree with. But it doesn't matter, because at least at the end of the day, they're educating me and they're being honest. So what I'm trying to do, and look at this, you know, I'm making lists, dude. That's just, I only spent about 5 minutes on that. There's that many names so far that I've been able to confirm that are bad wallets right within the Pump Fund interface. So the Pump Fund rugger that had 20,000 followers on X had a yellow check mark on Pump Fund, verified. So he ended up rugging. Like he throws in $4,600 and it goes bing, and then somebody else buys in a little bit, and bing, he sells out for $5,200. So he ended up making $600 on that trade, and then he's still pumping it. He's still like not pumping it. He's still promoting the thing. It's like, guys, keep buying in, because it's his token, and he's going to continue making fees. So if you pump a token to like $20,000, you just made like that creator just made a paycheck. Just made a day-long paycheck, because a bunch of people came in and a bunch of people came out just on the creator fees alone. So what I was saying before is, if like that's not the criminal part. The criminal part is that they did the actual pulling out, and they didn't fund that token a little bit just to get others back their bags. They decided not to do that. They were like, no, it's all mine now. How selfish is that? That's insane. You just made $3,000 on a token. You can't leave behind $10. What the freaking hell? That's beyond selfish. That's like evil, man. That's beyond criminal. It's evil. They shouldn't get, they should get in trouble for that, but they're not going to, because the government isn't going after that. I asked Google, I'm like, why aren't these rug pullers getting charged with anything? Let me open up my other device real quick and ask it directly. And you'll hear the response that it gives me. And you'll be like, oh God. Give me a second. Fine. I'm going to ask Google it, and I'm going to narrate exactly what the AI says. And you're going to understand how bad this situation really is. So I think I've already asked it the question on this device, so I'm going to find out. Well, that's not what I wanted. So I'm just going to ask it outright. Why are rug pulls? Or what, no, I'm going to ask, what is the government doing about rug pulls? Will they fix the problem? And why not? Because I already know it's a not. They're not going to. Well, the government targets crypto rug pulls through Department of Justice and specialized task forces like Scam Center Strike Force, freezing hundreds of millions in stolen assets. However, a complete fix is constrained by anonymous overseas operators, decentralized borders, and legal loopholes separating meme coins from traditional securities. Why are meme coins excluded? So meme coins are not treated as traditional securities, so the government can't go after them. I'll explain how. Meme coins are not completely exempt from the law, but they frequently escape federal regulation because they do not fit the traditional definition of an investment contract. The legal definition loophole, the Howey test. The government uses a 1946 legal standard called the Howey test to define a security. Expectation of profits. A security requires investors to expect profits based solely on managerial efforts of a centralized team. The meme coin defense. Creators argue that meme coins have no utility, no roadmap, and no central management. Community driven. Creators claim price changes rely entirely on public hype and community trading, not corporate work. The enforcement challenge. No central entity. Many meme coins are launched anonymously with renounced smart contracts, leaving no company for the government to sue. Lack of disclosure. Traditional companies must file financial disclosures, but meme coins operate in a legal gray zone with no registration requirements. They're not going to jail. However, if Pump Fun Dump Rug goes and gets their lawsuit lost, then they're going to go after the people that use their platform to do these rugs. Ouch. So here we go. Jurisdiction hurdles. Creators often deploy these tokens from outside the country, putting them beyond the immediate reach of domestic regulators. So many of these people are using VPNs. When the government does intervene, explicit fraud. If creators lie about locking liquidity or use hidden code to steal funds, the DOJ can file criminal wire fraud charges. But how can you prove that it happened? You can't prove it unless you're in their device. But you need legal standing to go and search through their device. There's so many loopholes. They're getting away with it, and there's a lot of people getting away with a lot of things. Celebrity promotions. If a famous influencer promotes a meme coin without disclosing they were paid, the SEC can issue heavy fines. Insider trading. If insiders use secret information to buy tokens before a public major announcement, federal prosecutors can arrest them. Now, I don't need that for this next explanation. I'm actually going to turn my hotspot off again. So I asked about insider trades, and it should have been obvious to me, and it was, because I had already said it before, but I wanted to clarify it. So I've already confirmed this with the AI, that there is a legal loophole for the insider trading gig. So they have an X account. They have their posts set to public. And because they launched it on a public post, they are now not insider trading. But you have to be following their account in order to know that it was posted, and you have to be notified and know about that time in which it's going to be posted. But it doesn't matter when it comes to the law, because they're allowed to post it whenever the hell they want without any notification. You see what I mean? Especially if they notified people ahead of time on that account. So their claim is that you weren't following me, so that's why you didn't get into the token before everyone else did, and that's why we got away with pulling that rug. That's how fucked the situation is. The loophole is insane. Because they have a public channel, even though no one saw it, they can go and they can tell their audience, look, here's the contract. There's people following these hugely popular accounts just so they can get the contract. They hate these developers. They hate them. But if they're following the account, then they can go and make a buck or two on that too. And they can't if they're not following the account. That's why you have 20,000 followers on an X account that goes and rugs every day. But as long as he posted it public, then he's protected. It's not considered insider trading. Now, these robots can go and detect that address. So the robots, they detect the address, you write a code, detect address, buy immediately. If someone sells, buy more immediately. If someone buys, sell immediately. And have a string of code that does all of these things without you tapping a single button after you've already written the code. That is a Jito bundler. And you can only use that on the computer. And now this is where Pump Fun fucked up. This is what I know and I realized. In the Tweedale interview, you can look it up. Tweedale. Tweedale. Look up the Tweedale interview if you're curious about this. And there's an hour-long podcast somewhere in 2025. I'm not sure what month. But basically he says that, first of all, they don't even want to be a crypto company. They wanted it to be an investment platform where creators can earn fees for promoting and creating. Okay, number one. Number two, that CEO said that their mission is to make trading and investing accessible through the phone. Have it all in one place. So have the investing and the content creation all in one place. If that's the case, then why the fuck do you need a computer to use a Jito bundler? That makes no sense, does it? Because you need a computer in order to run a Jito bundler. So many lies, so much convolution, so much bullshit is going on. And they're getting away with it. Look up Pump Fun RICO lawsuit. Somewhere around 5,000 of those texts that were leaked by a whistleblower proves that they knew about the MEV situation and they also aided it to happen. So they know about the Jito bundling situation. There actually is a setting that shows how many people are bundled, shows how much of a percentage of the holders are bundled with that program. So they literally know about the issue and they're doing nothing to stop it. Up until just about, 2 weeks ago, after I started talking about Pump Fun, it took me to post a fucking video and to contact the Phantom support and to do multiple things, give them a nasty rating, for them to actually update their app. It took them 3 years to add custom settings on the fees within the Pump Fun app. They claim themselves to be a decentralized platform, But you had to do it based on their rules for the last 3 years. They have control on what's seen in the feed. They have control on which token or how much you're paying into that token. They're controlling the fees. It's not decentralized completely. They're not technically protected by the law. But what they're doing is they're using lawyers to fight off any sort of accountability because they can make $1 million in a day. There's sick fucks all the way at the bottom and at the top. But like I said, Coinbase isn't fully innocent. Binance is definitely not innocent, but they're good with business. I don't hate them. Crypto.com, I don't hate them either. Good for business. They kept it a trading platform. They made it obvious. They give you awareness when you go onto the platform. They tell you, be careful, you might lose your money here. Coinbase doesn't do that. Pump Fund doesn't do that. There's no awareness messages. There's no awareness messages about the Jito bundlers. There's no awareness messages saying, hey, don't interact with contracts that you don't know about because maybe they'll pull out all your funds. They just expect you to learn these things on your own or just already know them. That's why you need to get educated, know about these things before your nephew or your cousin or your brother or sister or even your parents go and throw a bag at it and then lose it. I lost $50 in 2 trades. My best friend gave me $100, told me, do whatever you'd like to do with it. He knows my situation. That was my lifeline. And he's in the crypto space. He does well. Why does he do well? Because he's on Ethereum. He didn't play with Pump Fund. That's where I was based, in Ethereum. Well, actually, technically Binance and TRX. So I was actually way before that, like Tron, TRX, Binance, BNB. There's, Crypto.com, CRO. I was into that stuff back in the day when I first started. Dogecoin made a 3x, pulled out $360. That was 6 years ago, I think, or something like that. And yeah, I made a quick bag, but whatever the case, he did well because he's doing it smart. He's doing the Ethereum route. Ethereum is a lot safer. And, he understands actual protocols that can help you earn. But that's what's really going on. And with this video that I'm going to post, this long form video, I'm going to explain the behaviors of this person as he goes along and he dumps. I'm going to explain the pauses. I'm going to explain everything as it goes through. So I'm going to have a long form video for you guys. I'm going to go because I'm going to drink some milk and I'm going to relax my brain for a minute and probably go to work. I'm going to charge my phone just for a little bit and then, yeah. But today has been an interesting morning. And I can't wait to put out a long form video. I appreciate the engagement. I hope this helped people save a life, save a bag. Losing $40 isn't very much. Between you and me, I've lost over the course of 8 years, probably about $6,000 to $7,000. Anyways, have a good day, guys. And that was in a desperate situation because I got, health issue after health issue. I'm like, I'm going to take my savings and I'm going to start investing it. Slowly, I got fucked. WeMix took me for $3,000. $3,000 in fucking 2 months or 3 months. Chinese company. They fucked me too. But over the course of 8 years, I've lost probably about $7,000. And it was slow. And it was painful. But guys, that's why you don't get in it. Don't even waste your time. I did it so you don't have to. Later, guys. I love you. Thank you for joining. And I hope you have a great day and a blessed day.